inverted, narcissistic, and most importantly, completely pointless. Come waste an hour of your week with The Starting Block Friday nights Australian time at dlive.tv/The Starting Block. Get in touch with us on Twitter at The Starting Block, no K at the end. Also, subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or iTunes by searching for The Starting Block, all one word, or on Podbean at startingblock.podbean.com. Join the blockheads, tuning in their millions, right around the world.
You're listening to The Starting Block on TAVshow.com.
The following program is recommended for mature individuals and may contain material unsuitable for morons, cretins, and dishwipes. If you are a moron or a member of the PTL Club, please turn off your radio, because we don't need any more stupid, narrow-minded, pencil-neck geeks who wouldn't know the First Amendment if it came up and bit them on the butt. Thank you.
Okie dokie, roll 'em!
Nothing to rearrange. Sometimes you just get a feeling like you need some kind of change.
Hey, welcome to Starting Block for another week. Big show as always. We got story times, we got story times, we got story times. We got a hero douchebag, we got some body stat mans. That and much, much more. They're on the block.
Standing tall on the wings of my dream. Rise and fall on the wings of my dream. Rain, thunder, wind and haze, I'm bound for better days. My life, my dream, and nothing's gonna stop me now.
It's Greeno here from The Starting Block. On behalf of the block, we just wanted to let you all know that we're all in this together. Well, except if you have coronavirus, then stay the fuck away. But in every other situation, we're in it together. To all of you on the front lines, those of you turning a footstool, a wok, and a pitchfork into a home gym, those of you who have given your housemates a mental breakdown because you decided lockdown was a great time to learn the keyboard and the only thing you can play after 8 weeks is chopsticks over and over and over again. And those of you who are homeschooling and are now understanding the question you used to harass your maths teacher with of, when the fuck are we ever going to need to know this in the real world, is coming back to bite you on the ass. Just remember, like a 1990s Australian sitcom, we're all in this together. The days may be long, but in times like this, you can rest assured we will be here to waste an hour of your week, Friday nights Australian time, at dlive.tv/The Starting Block. So take care, social distance, whack on a mask, and subscribe to our show on iTunes. It may not cure coronavirus, but it sure will help us with our rankings. And isn't that really the most important thing right now?
Public Radio's loss is TAVshow.com's game. You're listening to The Starting Block.
Hey, welcome to The Starting Block for another week. You got myself, Greeno, and I'm joined by a man who's also also been referred to by his colleagues as a complete psycho. My co-captain Damo, how are we, sir?
Very good, Greeno. Good evening to you, blockheads, millions around the world, etc. Everyone on the listenership. How the fuck are you? How you been, Greeno? How's things, mate?
Yeah, been all right. It's an interesting week. I'm on annual leave, but it's kind of like faux annual leave. I don't mean to jump into a story time.
I like stories about pinatas.
So annual leave seems like a good idea, right? So I'm not going to work, annual leave. What is meant to be? So it's meant to be rest, relaxation, margaritas at midday.
You're going to have to interrupt.
I like stories about pinatas.
Yeah. And just interject with just a point of clarity, Greeno, before we get too far down the garden path. You said, well, it's a holiday. You don't have to go to work. I would suggest that's highly inaccurate, considering that you work from home. So you
exactly.
mean you don't have to be doing work tasks while you're in the same place that you always are.
Correct.
Okay.
I like stories about pinatas.
And if I can just interrupt one more time.
I like stories about pinatas.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Dr. Till in the chat. I'm going to give Dr. Till a nice Gary for this. Nice Gary! Dr. Till. He's done like 9 or 10 hours of fucking streaming today. So there was like, I'm telling you, man, I just happened to catch him because it was just one of those days where I could have YouTube on while I was working. Like I didn't have to do calls or anything like that, so, but I couldn't commit. But it was like, I just had it on. And like every time I turned over, this fucking guy is on YouTube again. Still fucking going. So he did like a chunk earlier in the day and then a chunk later on at night, gave us a shout out on his show. And thank you for the plug. And now shows up. It's got to be like fucking 4 a.m. or something where he is. 3:30 in the morning. So fucking nice, Gary. Nice, Gary.
That
is an effort. And I'm just going to say, to be brutally honest, it's totally not worth it. You should have gone to bed. The show is fucking terrible, man.
Yeah,
this is
the thing.
Terrible show.
10 hours in, you probably just need to have a bit of a lie down at that point.
A little lie down. Beck's and a lie down, Greeno.
Yeah, exactly. 100% correct.
All right, back to your story.
I like stories about pinatas.
No, faux annual leave, because annual leave seems all well and good. Like you pointed out, I work at home.
Yep.
So technically I'm in the exact same place I would be on a regular work day.
Correct.
So I'm sitting there going, look, you got to look at the positives, right? At least I get to sleep in, right? Get to sleep in. Don't need to log in. Don't need to get up early, log into work. No, I got kids, mate.
No.
So no.
Guess what? Daddy doesn't have to work. Guess what, kids? Daddy doesn't have to work, so we can wake him up even earlier now.
You're a fucking nice guy for you. Because that's exactly what happened.
That's the way kids think. The way kids think is like fucking sinister supervillain in a Walt Disney cartoon, Greeno. They look for any weakness and then stick their thumb in there.
Spot on. So with my usual wake up, whatever it may be, the kids are like, hour earlier, fucking let's wake daddy up. I've had less sleep on my so-called leave than I have when I normally go to work.
And now also because your day's not tied up with doing work from home, now all of a sudden this is usually the time when the wife in the situation, the female, your lovely wife, the lovely lady Greeno. This is I reckon this is around the time amazingly that she'll start to notice these little jobs around the house that need doing. Am I in a ballpark there?
No, because that's me. So I'm the kind of guy I need to keep myself busy, right? I'm a fidgeter. I can't sit for more than 5 seconds without having to do something. Right. So I'm not a chiller. I'm definitely not a chiller.
No,
so
that's true. You're not a chiller. A little impromptu story time.
I like stories about pinatas.
When we were younger and we used to go out a lot more, Greeno would volunteer to drive more often than anyone else. And it wasn't because Greeno was a pussy. Greeno will drink most fucking people under the table. And he's not a huge man or anything either. So it's a fucking effort. Pound for pound, probably the best drinker I've ever known. Okay.
So I can put them away.
He can fucking put them away with speed and efficiency, and it's fucking chilling when you watch it happen, right? So, but he would volunteer to drive more often than not because of that, because he's like, I just fucking, I'd be bored otherwise. We're just kind of fucking sitting around. He likes the sitting around and the talking and stuff. It's like, no, look, I don't care. I'd rather just drive. So I can get in, get it done, picking them up, fucking dropping them off, fucking job done, Greeno. So it's true. You are someone who prefers to be like, all right, what are we doing? You when we're at the place, you're thinking about what's the next place we're going to.
Yeah, well, also ulterior motive in that story.
Yes.
If Greeno picks up a lady, I've already got my car.
Nice.
Yeah, 100%. So I've had scenarios.
You sly fox.
Where I decided, look, I'm gonna have some drinks tonight, and we designate to one of the other 5 boys that we were generally going to the pub with and say, look, I've driven, 90% of the time. Greeno's turn to drink. Let's set him. All good.
Yeah.
And what would invariably happen is that would be the night Greeno would pick up.
Yeah.
And then I'd be stuck going, well, like, fuck, man, I've only got my mate to drive me home. And back then there was no cab money. Like, we weren't flush with cash. It was like, well, my mate's my lift, and it's kind of an awkward situation.
That's right.
This would be so much easier if I could, like, drop the boys off.
And the sweet irony of it is, like, the sweet irony of it is, Greeno, we'd all be going, oh, Greeno, the fucking idiot, he's driving again. We're the smart ones. We're having a good time. Greeno would drive home with the girl in the car, and we'd be throwing up in somebody's front garden. It's like, all right, see you, boys.
Yep, there you go.
Nice, Gary. All right, back to the story.
I like stories about pinatas.
That was a bit of a step back in time. We didn't
Oh,
realise.
we better do one of them then.
We better hit the button just to be safe. Just for complete
On the
sake.
soundboard tonight.
No, it's all good.
This is why I can't have one.
No, it was all right. There was a story time. There was a story time there that turned into a step back in time.
You just don't like unjustified nice Garys. That's
exactly correct. Yeah, I've got a bugbear about the nice Garys.
Right.
So yeah, I realised the kiddies are going to wake me up early. Then the kiddos are back to school and daycare this week.
Okay, bit of relief
which
there.
Which means no. That means that Daddy's still got to get up and do the double drop off.
So it takes longer to do the double drop off than it does.
The double drop off is part of the normal routine. But here's what's happened, right? Normally, what would happen is I do 3 days, the wife does 2 days because she's off 2 days, and I work 5.
Yeah.
So the day she's at work, I do drop off and still work, and the day she's off, she takes the kids.
Yeah.
But the wife's also on annual leave, so she's like, "Well, I'm not going to do the drop off."
Well,
so now
someone has to do the drop-off.
So now I'm actually doing more drop-offs on leave than I will be when I'm working, as well as getting less sleep, as well as doing more work around the house, and still doing more cooking. And I'm like, well, I'm actually more tired now than if I'd gone to work. So I'm tempted to cut my leave short next week and just go back to the office.
And, a nice Gary to you, Greeno, because I want to, let it be known how much I appreciate you using this show as a vehicle to express your passive-aggressive anger at your spouse, Greeno. So, nice, Gary! In the subtle way that you're doing it, too. So, nice, Gary, for that.
The beauty of this show is the wife doesn't listen. So it's a nice safe space.
Yeah.
Safe space here with us and our 6 listeners.
Well, we're all about that here on the block, aren't we? We believe in safety for everyone. We love it.
Exactly.
Speaking
100%.
of safe spaces, Greeno, can we do a little one of these?
Siren seems to be the hardest word.
Because, there was an oversight that I need to address. And it was terrible. But I'm going to have to give Greeno a retrospective happy birthday because this is what a terrible friend I am. It was Greeno's birthday, like, on the fucking show last week, was it not? Like, that was your actual birthday?
We don't give out specific birthday dates on this particular show. So
Right.
let's say there or thereabouts.
There or
it might have been my
thereabouts.
birthday in the vicinity of said week.
In the
Correct.
vicinity of said week, but it was, and then I completely fucking forgot about it. So I was like, oh, that's a terrible friend. Because I realized kind of like the next day or something, because I don't do dates. I'm not very good at birthdays. You know what I mean? It's just not something like, happy birthday, but it's just I never remember like a date on the calendar and associate it to someone's birth. It makes me a terrible person, I know, but there's nothing I can do.
Because the thing I know about you, we've been friends 30 odd years.
Yeah.
You never look at a calendar, like ever.
No.
You had no reason ever to look at a calendar. You know Monday through Friday. When you have to go to work. But if I said to you, "Hey, what's today's date?" You're like, "I don't fucking know, man."
And that's always why, like, always my stories are so fucking vague in timeline terms, is because I don't fucking know. When was it? Like, I don't know, 3 months ago, 4 months ago,
maybe
couple weeks ago, 100%. I don't know. It was like maybe January, and then I find out it was March. I'm like, it's ballpark, whatever.
Yeah, it's fine. So what invariably happens year after year around my birthday? I'll get a text from you like a day later, a couple of days later. I was like, "Hey, bro, thanks for happy birthday for the other day." And I'm like, "Yeah, man, no worries." Yeah. And I just kind of take that as like, "Well, yeah, man, you remembered." Like, it's all good. It doesn't matter if you remember on the day, man. You remembered. Who cares?
I remember roughly in the vicinity of.
In the vicinity. Hey, man, you remembered. That's better than a lot of people. So,
we're not married or anything.
No, exactly. So let's rescind that storybook because storybook's not necessary.
I don't know if I can play it backwards or not.
We'll reverse it. Like, pretend you listen to a record and reverse it.
All right.
Maybe let's do a gardening segment. And there we go. That'll do. So no storybook necessary.
Happy birthday anyway, by the way.
Oh, thanks, mate. Appreciate it. So let's get back to my other story time.
I like stories about pinatas.
Story time inside of story time. So I was talking about how the kiddos went back to work back to school, this week.
Yep.
And interesting scenario. So I told you the year's been shit to start, right? The year's been shit, terrible start to the year. We've gone through it. Go back and listen to last week's podcast. You can hear the back catalogue of shitness at the start of the year.
Yeah. So
I'm like, look, going to get into February. February's going to be a new day. It's going to be good. You know, we had all the shit with my son's COVID at daycare. I'm going to send him back. Now, we had to do a tactical decision here, right?
Okay.
We're like, do we send him back on the Monday, the day before the daughter has to go back to school, and risk her not being able to go back to school on day one and meet her new teacher, or hold him back, pay for yet another fucking day of daycare that he's not going, and wait till the Wednesday? We went the latter. We're like, we're going to do safety first.
Hang on. Don't you just have to – sorry, am I so out of touch? Don't you just have to go to school when it starts? You can't pick your own start date, surely? Like, you can't just wander in a couple of days later and, you know.
No, this is daycare. I'm talking about.
Right. Okay.
The daycare, my son's been home because there was an outbreak at his daycare. So we had to kept him home, safety first. And we're like, but the problem is if we send him to daycare and there was an outbreak, then there was a risk we couldn't send him.
Look at all of these like overlapping fucking concerns that you've already got enough concerns, don't you? When you've got like a couple of kids that are in preschool and shit, you've already got enough on your plate. You know, and now they're just layering these extra levels of complexity onto life that ought not be there. How about this? Look, if you feel safe, send them in, and if you don't, fucking keep them home. We've got an online lesson plan that's been working somewhat for the last 2 years. It can only get better. And if you're more comfortable getting them out to school, then do that. Let's see what happens. How many teachers, how many parents, Greeno, would choose sending them to school over keeping them home today? I wonder what the slice would be. The percentage.
50-50, I reckon.
That's a huge percentage, isn't it? A huge percentage.
That is. To be honest, the drop-off, pickup, all that kind of stuff interrupts my day more than homeschooling.
Yep.
So it was actually easier for me to teach my kid at home than drop him off and pick him up because it interrupted my day more.
Right. So this whole thing with the, like, you know, schools not going back and teachers teaching from home and stuff, and, you know, a lot of teachers have been advocating for more teaching from home and whatnot. It's going to come back on them. It's going to bounce back hard, because when the schools open up again, a lot of people are going to be like, you know what, fuck sending the kid to school. What's that? What's the good of that? Then, hey, look, if there's half of the kids attending school, they can't allow that to happen. If there's half of the kids attending school, what do you think happens to education budgets, Greeno? They're going to go through the floor.
With that said, keeping it home, they still had to write the lesson plans for me. I just had to present them.
Well, the more labor that the government can outsource to parents, I'm sure they'll take on. Yeah. I mean, you know, save a bit of money, won't we? So
exactly.
Yeah, so nice, Gary.
Gary. So we got given the COVID safety plan, right? I'm sure you would have read it because you're all over this kind of thing. Yeah. Where you got to test your kids twice a week before you send them to school to make sure that everyone's safe, because apparently it's a safe space as long as you're testing everyone a couple of days a week. So they sent home a couple of tests and said, look, come pick them up, test your kid.
Which can I ask, Greeno, do you find that's a little asinine, considering that, okay, you do 2 tests a week, whatever, it could be 5 tests a week, it doesn't matter, because isn't the whole thing you can take a test and then 10 minutes later walk out and touch someone and then catch it?
Correct.
So what's the fucking point of, like, you make it, I tell you what, let's make it 50 tests a week, Greeno. I want 10 tests per child. Yes. Every single school day. And we'll just fucking test them and test them and test them and test them. Guaranteed at one point in between those hour intervals of the testing,
someone will pop up.
Someone will fucking get it, and they will have like shared a sandwich or rubbed some fucking snotty nosed kid in the face or something at some point in the sand pit, and then it'll be spread. What's the fucking difference? So we require mandatory testing twice a week. This is just something so politicians can feel like they're, you know, in control, but they're not.
Well,
it's ridiculous.
You gotta read the fine print. So everyone, it seems like it's mandatory, but then you read the fine print, it turns out not mandatory at all.
Not mandatory at all.
Nice. So it's actually voluntary. So we go up, we pick up our tests, and we're like, hey man, we've got about $100 here I can put on eBay.
Right.
Because we've got our freebies. So I'm sitting there, I'm going around the nursing home selling them for like $30 a pop. I got 4 tests. You want 4 tests? I got 4 tests. You want some 30, 40?
Check it out. And I've got a can of creamed corn with your name on it, Suze. Okay.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Because there's a shortage in aged care. We need to sell them there. But I'll take my freebies off the school to test my kid, and we're all good.
Can I give you a story time, Greeno?
I like stories about pinatas.
Because you the thing about you flogging things off at the old folks home reminded me of a story. Back when I was doing a garbage run, and I reckon I would have been like 22 or 23 at the time. It would have been like 11 o'clock at night, pissing down rain. And I go to empty a bin and my heart broke because there was someone in there fishing out like the out of date, like little cans of food and stuff.
Oh, no.
From this supermarket. And I'm like, look, and I just hang back and I'm kind of there for like 10, 15, 20 minutes smoking a cigarette. And now my day's getting away from me. Mm-hmm. And, I kind of walk up to them like, hey, how you going? I'm very nice. And they're like, oh, look, I just want to collect. I'm like, look, take your time. I'll help you. And I grabbed a few fucking cans out for them. And then I'm like, all right, are you done? Are you good? All right, sweet. And I said, look, I come back around this time every night. So tomorrow, if you can start a little earlier, that would be awesome. Right? And I was that nice about it. This ritual kind of went on for like, I reckon 2 weeks or 3 weeks, right?
Wow.
Yeah. And so every night, like getting held up, and I feel bad. So I don't say anything. Yeah. And then one night I get there and I guess the bin scrimmager had a night off and there was this fucking security guard standing there on the dock, where the bin scrimmager would have been.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, hey. And he's like, how you going? And I said, have you noticed the old lady who's in here? Like, and he's like, yeah, we had to get her to fuck off like this. And I go, oh, wow, that's a little harsh. And he goes, oh, no, you don't know. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, there's like a fucking $80,000 sports car that's parked around the corner there. That's hers. What she does is she comes in, she rifles through the fucking bin. I swear, hand on heart, this is a true story.
Yeah.
She comes in, she rifles through the bin and gets the stuff that the supermarket throws out that's out of date and then goes to the local old folks home and sells it to them.
Nice,
Gary!
You people are fucked.
Hey? So let me tell you though, the next night I get down there and guess who's fucking waist deep in this dumpster? It's it's our little entrepreneur friend.
Load her into the back of the garbage truck. So
oh man, I pulled right up to the bin, high beams on, air horn, run! Yeah. And I don't even get out of the truck and I yell out the window, get out of there, you fucking scab! And you should have seen her run.
Nice, Gary!
Should have seen her run. It was like watching a gazelle gallop at the sound of a cracking rifle,
Wow.
She was out of there and she never came back. So there you go.
I like stories about pinatas.
Get out of here.
Give yourself a nice Gary for fucking doing a civil service.
I'm nice to you until we discover you're a cunt.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're doing a cunny thing like that, it's like, I'm not going to be part of this.
Exactly.
Fuck out of here.
Fuck off and fuck off now. We're up to the test, weren't we? Yeah, so anyway, send the kid back. Kept my son home from daycare an extra day. Forked out another $100 for that, even though I've kept him home. I'm already down about a gorilla this year in daycare fees for keeping him home for his own safety because the outbreak's there, but the government won't shut down the daycare because they still want the cash. So I'm out of gorilla.
It's a lot of sweet fucking taxation do-re-mi on the top of all of these little childcare fees, isn't it, Greeno?
But the good news is
fucking money-making machine.
That's going to come under work-related deduction other this year.
Oh,
Every cent I've spent on daycare that my son hasn't gone, I'm putting it as a work-related deduction. This is horseshit.
Thank you.
Get him back home.
Thank you, Jesus, for making this my best friend.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
Nice, Gary.
All right, so with tax time, it's just around the corner, by the way. Let's get rocking and rolling on this shit.
Get rocking. Yeah. The money I've wasted on daycare to answer my son. So daughter goes back, send her back, get a day one. I'm like, look, everyone's gonna be safe. Everyone's done a test. We're all good, right? Good to go. We send her back. We get through day one. She comes home. She tells us about her new teacher. It's all exciting. Yeah. She talks about her classmates. I'm like, excellent. This is the smile I want to see when I saw her walk back in the door. Happy days,
positivity.
Good times.
Let's go.
Exactly. I'm like, the poor thing's been stuck at home. We didn't do any fun shit. We did fun shit, but we didn't get to interact with many people during the school holidays because of the COVID shit. Yeah. So I'm like, I didn't get to take it a whole bunch of things I wanted to do. But this smile that was on her face from hanging out with her friends, I'm like, this is like excellent. Happy days. Literally 9 a.m. the next morning, ding on my phone, school positive case. We got one day. We got through one day of school before I get a ding on. Hey, turns out fucking cases at school. So this testing system's working. Testing system's working well, sir, because the testing was meant to be done before the kids went to school to make sure no one had the vid. Turns out kid had the vid on day one. We managed to get through a couple of days without it, thankfully. So fucking, there you go, one day.
Jesus, what a hell
I like stories about pinatas.
And I said, you see, again, this is why hourly testing stamp a lot of this shit out, Greeno. We'll take all the. What if you had to go and pick up your kids and drop them off maybe 2 or 3 times a day? Now that would be epic, wouldn't it? Look, we've had a COVID outbreak, so for the next hour, this is a quarantine site until we clear everybody out, and then we'll dehydrate it or do whatever we fucking do in there. We'll spray some shit around, safety foam, and then we'll bring all the little kiddies back in. So if you could just be next to your phone, because your government app is going to tell you when your kids need to be handed back over to the teachers again.
Spot on. Yeah, safety first. Safety first.
Nice,
interesting dynamic, though. The fact that, no one can seem to buy any of these tests anywhere, but we're getting handed a fistful to test our kids beforehand when they might not have any symptoms. Now, safety first. But the kids, even though we're testing them, the kids still manage to bring something into the school. Yeah. You might want to rework that plan, dickhead. Let's do it. Let's do a more important thing. Fuck the COVID. Let's go to the important issues, sir.
Yep.
I want to give you a sleeveless update.
I like stories about pinatas.
For those who are new, Greeno has dedicated himself because he's a very driven man and a very ambitious man.
Set goals, mate.
Sets goals. He's that kind of a guy. So he set a goal this what is it, a month, Greeno?
No, this holiday period. The period I'm on annual leave.
So a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, something like that.
Yeah, so 3 weeks off,
3 weeks. So he set a personal goal for the 3 weeks to wear nothing but sleeveless shirts or tank tops and singlets for the 3 weeks.
Nice, Gary.
So how are we tracking on that? So we're week 1's down, correct?
Week 1's down, correct. Now we got to as you pointed out last week, it's a bit limited in what I can wear in inappropriate settings, right? Yeah, so I went through all my dress sleeveless last week.
Unless you're prepared to get the scissors out, then it's a different.
Yeah, exactly.
How committed are you to this?
And as you pointed out, I can wear the footy jerseys if I roll the sleeves up.
Correct.
Still count.
Correct.
All good.
But you'd probably want to make sure that the sleeve doesn't accidentally unroll. They can do that when you're getting something from up high or whatever. So I would get a couple of clothes pegs, Greeno,
just to be safe.
Peg the sleeve up at the shoulder, just so it can't roll down the arms, and then head out that way. When you go down the shop, get your local groceries, what have you.
Good call. I like it. Yeah. I like it.
To blend in.
Yeah. So get to the point of the week where I'm like, look, I'm out of dress sleeveless.
Wait, you have dress sleeveless? A section in the wardrobe?
Yeah. I've got regular
smart
sleeveless.
Casual.
I've got smart casual sleeveless, and then I've got casual sleeveless. So,
do you have like a daytime sleeveless shirt and a nighttime sleeveless? Because I want to see the 1 a.m. Saturday night fever sleeveless, Greeno. I reckon it would just be leather, the leather vest, but with the shreds on the shoulders, like not a clean, not a clean cut. I want to see it all nice and flowy back there.
Spot on.
Yeah.
So I'm rummaging through. I'm freaking out because I got to do the school drop off, right? And I'm rummaging
through. Got to get the guns out.
I'm out of dress sleeveless.
Got to get the guns out the bus zone.
I'm out of dress sleeveless, and I can't wear sleeves. What the fuck's going on here? And I look, and I'm like, oh. And the thing that was left that didn't need to be washed was my 1994 Orlando Magic Penny Hardaway jersey.
Oh, nice, Gary. Yep.
And so I put it on, and I said to the wife, I'm like, look.
1994, mate.
1994.
So, we weren't even fucking, we weren't employed then. Put it in that ballpark.
Yeah.
Still going to school. So the irony is you're now going to school in the same fucking basketball shirt you were wearing to school. Yeah.
Yeah. So I said to the wife, I'm like, is this inappropriate gear for me to drop off my kid? Is this going to embarrass her? Right?
I think if you have to ask if it's inappropriate, then it must be. Because how often would that come up?
And I got that kind of like pause before the response. And I knew my answer. And I'm like, look, I get it. Okay, so I had to fucking break my rule. I had to fucking put a t-shirt on.
Shirtless, Greeno. Did you consider the shirtless option?
I didn't consider the shirtless because I thought that's more embarrassing.
Nah, because
more so for the other males in the area when they see the shredded beach bod. But you know, not for me, for them, because they're like, this is what you should aspire to, fellas.
No, I reckon it's more. It'd be more embarrassing to wear, like, to squeeze into the fucking basketball shirt you used to wear when you were 14. I reckon that'd be more embarrassing because at least if you're shirtless, you're owning it. You know, it's like, look, it's sunny out. It would be best if it was raining and cold and shitty and you're down there shirtless. No, I tell you what, just fucking transition into 1970s Australian, Greeno. I want you to get yourself a Holden Kingswood and I want you to drop the kids off down at the school shirtless with a small, like a teeny tiny pair of footy shorts on and a fucking pair of thongs, mate.
That's it.
Out you go, little ones. All right, that'll fucking pick you up later on the Saturday. What are you looking at, cunt? You know, give it a bit of 1970s Australian parentage. See how that goes down. Fucking over.
Try that next week.
See, you don't know nothing. You don't know nothing about fashion. I don't know nothing about parenting. We fucking fixed it.
Fixed it. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I finally have to cave. I'm like, I can't embarrass my little one. I can't do it. So it's like day 2 at school. She's got new friends, new class. I can't be that fucking guy, man. I'm like, I don't want to be that parent. So I put
at least give her fucking kindergarten before she regrets everything.
Yeah,
you know, like.
Exactly. I don't want to hate daddy that early, right? So I put a t-shirt on. I fucking already break my rule. I go through a week. I was like, happy days. I drop her off, and I look over. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on over here? And I shit you not. Yeah. I see a dad dropping off a kid wearing a 1994 Shaquille O'Neal Orlando Magic jersey.
Fucking Gary!
I shit you not. I'm like,
same day.
Are you kidding me? The exact same jersey I was
Did you do the thing where you fucking hit yourself in the chest? Like, fucking come on, mate, right there. Hit the badge, Greeno.
No, I was
should have got his attention. You should have. I
was so angry at myself because that would have worked if I was wearing my Penny Hardaway jersey. I would have been like, fucking yes, nice, Gary.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I pussied out.
Yeah, you left Shaq hanging, man. That's why they didn't win the championship.
Exactly.
Penny left Shaq hanging. Penny made Shaq do all the work.
Yeah.
Yep.
So in my own kind of self-doubt of like, you can't wear a fucking Orlando Magic 1994 jersey to school.
Oh, yes, you fucking can.
It's the exact same day some dude fucking rocked up wearing a Shaquille O'Neal 1994 Orlando Magic jersey.
Yeah, and it's the thing that makes it special is it's the Shaq fucking Magic shirt. It's not the Lakers shirt, you know?
No. It was Orlando Magic 1994.
That guy's a proper fucking Magic fan, you know?
Exactly. Only me and him would have gotten it.
Yeah.
We would have looked at each other, we would have gazed like star-crossed lovers.
It's like, dude, we had two good years when we had like Shaq, fucking Hardaway,
Penny, Horace,
DC3, Nick Anderson, fucking Horace Grant. Yeah. You had a couple of guys fucking like the six man MVP was the Magic player that year, but I can't fucking remember his name because he was a six man. Yeah. You know, so like they had a couple of good years and then Shaq went to LA and then it all just fucking fell apart and never got back there ever again, did they? But
exactly.
Yeah. So that's a special time for a Magic fan. Like that's when it was the Magic.
Yeah. Exactly.
Nice fucking Gary. What a story. A great story.
Which brings me to my next story before we go to a break.
I like stories about pinatas.
Rapid fire stories tonight. Well done.
So I did the intro. I was like, fucking, it's just story times, and then I'll shut up after this. So from there, it becomes holiday math, right? And we talked about this before. We talked about Christmas grog math. There's also holiday grog math, right?
Yeah.
So the general rule is, you know, when you're on holidays, any kind of annual leave, the alcohol consumption can start at any point in the day. And my general rule is I try and wait till at least after lunchtime to try and look semi-appropriate as an adult. But sometimes that rule has to be broken if there's sport on the television. So
I reckon I'm like a 10 a.m. man when I'm on annual leave. I'm like 10:30, like, because if I'm usually up at 6 or 7 anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of,
have some breakfast, have a coffee, have a couple of cigarettes, you know, potter around, and then 10:30ish, whenever it starts getting warm, start cracking them.
Yeah.
Getting in there.
So I had to take all this stuff into consideration on a Dan Murphy's run. So I ducked on down to Dan Murphy's and worked out for at least the next week to make sure I'm covered. 6 cases should do it. Right?
Six cases for 3 weeks. So 2
No,
cartons
for the next week. For the next week.
For 1 week.
Yeah, for 1 week, just to be safe. So
6
we got
cartons.
that. 6 cartons. Then I realised the wife doesn't want a mojito, so I better get some mojito mix. So pick that up.
What does that set you back these days? I bet they're pricey little fuckers, aren't they?
The mojito mix? That wasn't too bad. It was like $25.
Oh, okay. I would have thought like Alco Pop taxes and whatever fucking
No.
whatever
No
money
alcohol.
grubbing
This-
thing the
no,
government's
no,
doing
sorry.
on it. You know?
Take one step back. This is just basically a flavour mix. So you still got to buy the liquor. You still got to buy the other stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all separate. That's why it's only $20.
Gotcha.
So did that run, pulled the trolley up, and I look in front of me, and I want to give this particular lady, she caught my eye, and it was nothing about her looks. It was what was in her trolley, sir.
Okay. Now,
This
are
lady was-
you a trolley snoop, a little bit of a cart snoop? You like to take a little peek at what other people are buying? Or
I got
do you
nothing
look
better
your
to do
own
when
way?
I'm waiting in the line. So, yeah, I do look around. I'm like, what's this guy got? That's all right. Interesting. This lady had a case, and I repeat, a case of West Coast coolers.
Oh, nice, Gary. Fucking flashback back in the day.
So I'm like, hang on. I remember even as a young pup, like West Coast coolers for how can we put this to our American listeners? Think like really soft cock high school drinks that you drink.
Well, they're wine
So, like,
spritzers, aren't they? Aren't
wine
they
spritzers,
wine
yeah,
with
pretty
lemonade in them, basically?
Something like that. There or thereabouts.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like a really soft drink, but you drink them as a teenager, kind of like a fun drink.
West Coast coolers. And they come in a little bottle, they were really geared, to be honest, they were really geared towards ladies. Like it was a girl
Correct.
drink, but it was a girl drink in like the late 80s, you know?
Yeah.
And where it was fucking huge. Like, do you remember West Coast commercials used to play on fucking television more often than VB ads when we were kids, Greeno? They were everywhere.
100%. That's why I got a flashback. But the thing is, I only ever remember anyone buying 6 West Coast coolers ever at a time.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because you only get a couple. This lady, she was having a good time.
A case of it.
She's in 2022, and she's like, I'm going to get a fucking slab of West Coast
You know what we
coolers.
need to do, Greeno? We need to, next time we do like a lunch of champions, we should be getting pissed on West Coast wine coolers.
West Coast
Greeno.
coolers. Fucking count it in. Let's go to an ad.
All right, beautiful.
Do you like your novelty comedy songs organic? Handmade with painstaking care, put into every note? Well, look no further than Irrational Times. Using only the finest instruments to create an experience that your ears will thank you for later, Irrational Times attempts to elevate the whimsy to a desirable level. New songs and sketches every week, so check it out.
There's a place that we can go to watch old things. All the warm, fuzzy member berries it brings. It's a special little spot tucked away on D-Live. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. Campy old movies and old cartoons. We hope to see you over there very soon. It's our special little spot tucked away on D-Live. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. When we were kids and there wasn't any school, we'd sit and watch all the best cartoons, eating cereal until it was noon. We never thought that 30 years later it'd still be cool. Saturday night and cheesy movies, the ones that used to show us boobies. It's our special little spot tucked away on D-Live. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. Enjoy the joy of Pessy.
Now with less than 3% sport content. It's the starting block on TAVShow.com.
Yes, welcome back to the block, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Twitter. It's a thing. One of our favourite segments on the show, Greeno, is Hero or Douchebag.
Yeah.
It's something that we like to revisit every now and then.
Twitter, it's a thing.
Did you like it?
No, I do like it. I let it breathe this week instead of interrupting.
It had to be, yeah.
I just had to breathe.
Like a souffle, Greeno.
Yeah.
The smell of like beautiful fucking lamb basically filled the house during that little gag there. That's a running bit of my own. That's a little fucking sneaky one that I've been slipping into the show, Greeno.
I liked it.
Each week the Twitter plug gets more subtle. So this week, Twitter, what was it? Twitter? It's a thing. It's a thing.
Yeah. Before you get to your thing, you just mentioned a bit of food. I whipped up something for dinner tonight.
What'd you have?
That for some reason, whenever I used to go on annual leave, we go on holiday, I used to order Japanese all the time, right? But it's the only time I ever ate it. Any point in the year, I just eat Japanese. Yeah. I'm not going anywhere, so I'm like, I'm gonna have to find a Japanese recipe. And something that stuck in my head was Japanese fried chicken, right?
Okay. How do they fry it any different to anyone else?
Well, here's the thing: they marinate and soak the inner chicken for like days in advance.
The inner chicken. What's that? Is that that sounded? No, I'm just gonna say that sounded very spiritual. No, they soak the inner chicken. You know what in their koi pond, Greeno? Yeah.
Well, the chicken inside
in
the
water feature, right? The stuffing.
Well, the filling, like basically the chicken that is crumbed in like a fried chicken, right? They marinate that chicken in advance. Okay. So it's got these beautiful Japanese flavors. It's got some sake, it's got some mirin, it's got soy sauce.
What are Japanese flavors, internet? Like, do they have, I know they have some weird fruit and shit over there, don't they?
Yeah, but I think mirin, sake, those are the two things.
What's mirin? Soy sauce. I don't know what mirin is.
It's a Japanese thing. I don't know, man. I just bought the ingredients, dude.
Is it like a herb or something? Or?
No, it's like a liquid. It's kind of
some weird sauce that they put on raw fish to make it fucking consumable.
It's more. It seems more like a vinegar. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I like a good vinegar. I'm a salt and vinegar on fucking hot chips, man, Greeno.
Yeah, that's always nice.
Yeah, just pure vinegar. Yeah, and I'm like, no, fucking pour it on, get it on there. You know, let the chips fucking soak it up, Greeno, so they're nice and soggy in the vinegar and fucking salt. I love it.
No, you gotta scale that back.
No. You just hold the fucking chip packet like up above your head, Greeno, and let the vinegar drip into your mouth as you're walking down the road, wringing the newspaper out.
Nice. So, but the thing is with this Japanese fried chicken is it's like a 3-day process.
Jim says mirin is a rice wine, so you're putting booze in there. Okay.
Yeah, there you go, rice wine.
We need a rice wine spritzer, Greeno. You mean a nice wine spritzer? No, a rice wine spritzer.
Rice wine spritzer.
Well, Rest Coast. Nice, Gary. The rice wine spritzer. Yeah, fantastic.
So you got to soak the chicken in this marinade for days in advance. Then you coat it with a particularly a potato starch and salt and pepper.
How do you get a potato starch? Do you have to do something to the potato to extract the starch?
No, you just go buy it.
So how do they get it though?
I don't know. I guess they take the starch out of the potato.
Well, so how do they do that?
Why don't I look that up, mate? I'll save it for next week.
Okay.
Is BE in the chat?
A little bit of homework, in the chat. Yeah. How do they get starch out of the potato? And then how do they put it into a business shirt, Greeno?
How do they turn it into like a floury powder? Yeah. So
how do they make me look good for my corporate meeting? All the way. The fucking Irish, they're geniuses, aren't they?
They find a way. They can do anything with the potato.
Yeah. They can grow food in literal just piles of shit and muck in Ireland. And then 300 years later, after the potato famine, Greeno, people are wearing potato starch business shirts to business meetings, selling potatoes out of Ireland.
And coating Japanese food.
Yeah.
So you got to coat it. You got to coat it in starch. You fry it once at a medium-high oil.
Okay.
And then you got to let it rest again.
Set the toaster to 3, medium brown.
And then you got to second fry it to give an extra crispy outside edge. It was fucking fucking delicious.
Do you cool it off before your second fry, or do you?
You do, because you're doing your next batches. So you're doing your batches,
fridge.
right?
Okay.
You're doing not fridge. You're just kind of going like, hey, there's 4 pieces of the crumb chicken. Fried it, put it on the hot, like the paper towel, and then you do the next batch. And then once you've done all the batches, then you bring it back batch 1 and double fry it.
What if you stuck it? What if, like, what say, Greeno, you stuck it in the freezer for like, say, fucking 6 hours or something, then fried it again? What would that be like?
Well, then you'd fuck up the chicken.
Would you?
You'd have some frozen chicken in there.
Yeah.
No, it'd be terrible.
Okay.
Long story short, chicken was fucking delicious and was worth the 3 days I spent making this stupid thing.
3 days.
Nice,
One chicken.
One chicken.
One chicken. And you didn't even have to lop its head off or pluck its feathers or anything. You just bought it already prepped.
A lot of days of marinating and doing a lot of other random shit. The amount of time it took me to go find potato starch, I had to go to 20 different like Chinese stores.
Tell me about
I think
it.
I could find it.
Yeah, it must be hard to find because we still don't know how they get it out of the fucking potatoes, Greeno.
Nice, Gary.
And into the business shirts.
Sorry, you were talking hero or douchebag.
Hero or douchebag? Yeah, fucking oath. Hero or douchebag. Oh, that's on the screen. A douchebag for me. Here you go. I thought this was a little hero or douchebag. Kanye West allegedly spreading unfounded rumors. So, first of all, do you know what happened with Pete Davidson? Pete Davidson's now fucking Kanye's ex.
So
Kim
Pete
Kardashian.
Davidson seems to be the perfect rebound guy for a lot of Hollywood ladies. He's had who's he had? He's had Kate Beckinsale.
Yep.
He's had
Ariana Grande.
Ariana Grande. He's had Kim Kardashian and someone else. I can't remember. Off the top
He's
of my
had a
head.
number of them.
A number of ladies. Now, one of my favorite quotes was from a comedian, Chrissy Ma, who's like, "Look, he may have a magical penis, but it's still attached to him. So I just don't know." And I'm like, fair call. Because I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Well, what I think is funny about this story. So the story is Kanye West allegedly spreading unfounded rumors. Pete Davidson is gay and has AIDS, Greeno. Which is
Nice, Gary.
Now the reason I think this is funny is like there aren't too many people. Yes,
petty.
but the reason why it's petty, right? So there aren't too many people on planet Earth. I wouldn't have thought that could like big dick Kanye when it comes to the pussy ranks. You know what I mean? Like how much pussy they get or how much pussy they can get or whatever. There's not many people who can do it. And so when somebody's done it, because he's now fucking like he's fucking his wife basically. Like if you get a divorce and then like 3 weeks later or whatever it is or a month, it doesn't even matter. It could be a year later. They're still your wife, you know, in your head in practice or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So the first guy who's fucking your wife after you get a divorce is technically fucking your wife. That's the way I say it. It doesn't matter who that first guy is, right?
Yeah.
So he's fucking Kanye's wife, and it's like, this is a perfect like little snippet of man mentality. What does Kanye, the former kind of big dick alpha out there in the pussy ranks, Greeno, how does he react to being big dicked and alphaed in the pussy ranks by this guy fucking his wife? He just reverts back to 12-year-old. And he starts going, whatever, you're gay and you've got AIDS.
Nice, Gary.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care. I don't care who you fucking man. I don't even like that girl anyway. You're gay and you've got AIDS. It's fucking brilliant. So I reckon he's a hero.
Show the insecurity of Kanye as well as a general human. Like no matter how rich you are, no matter how famous you are, no matter how much pussy you're getting, because he's knee deep in it no matter what.
Yeah.
He's still gonna have that petty insecurity. Like, well, what do you mean? Like that dude's fucking my wife? Fuck him. He's gay. He's got AIDS.
I reckon it's fucking hilarious.
It's very fucking funny. So in this instance, I'm gonna give him a hero because I think it's funny enough to be a hero thing that it's so petty, it's so insincere, it's so immature that it becomes fucking funny.
It does. And you know what? Credit to him because he could have done something like, oh, you know what? Pete Davidson's a racist. You know, he hates black men. That's why he's fucking my wife. But he didn't do that. No, he went even fucking like far lower than that. Just like, no, he's gay and he's got AIDS.
He's gay. He's got AIDS.
Fantastic. There you go. Hero or douchebag. You decide out there in the chat or in the podcast audience. What do you think? I don't know. I kind of like it. I'm with him.
I'm with you.
Do you want to do a hero douchebag back to back?
Yeah, why not? If we've got another one.
All right. Well, I'm just going to fold this into the hero or douchebag category. Greeno.
Oh, see, no, I was gonna put this into a new segment.
Oh, you want to do a segment? All right, let's do a fucking segment.
I was gonna do a segment on this. This is on the back. I'll do a quick Ash Barty stat man before we get to this one to give us some context. Right? So congratulations to Ash Barty, who won the Australian Open earlier in the week. Set an all-time record, the most watched ever Australian Open women's final. Sorry, any women's final in Australia. Set a record. There was $3.9 million viewer average throughout the course of the match. So amazing. So she's the first Australian to win the Australian Open.
41 years. 44, is it?
Yeah.
Yvonne Goolagong Cawley was the last one, was she?
No, it was some random chick that I'd never heard of.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. She didn't lose a set all tournament. That's the first since 2000 when Lindsay Davenport did it.
Oh, fucking remember Lindsay Davenport. So yes, the man-child. She was huge, but she was like the white Serena Williams of her age, but she wasn't as good as Serena is or was.
She was a very good player, though.
She was very good, but the difference like with Lindsay Davenport was she was a bit more kind of lumbering than Serena is, right? Serena, and she wasn't as powerful as Serena, but at the same time, none of the other female players were as powerful as they are now when Lindsay was very good. So you know what I mean? The whole standard's gone up. But unlike Serena was like dominant for like fucking 20 years, basically. And Lindsay Davenport, I reckon she had like 1 or 2 just really good years when she was practically unbeatable. And it wasn't like when she was like 31 or 32 or something. It's just like all of a sudden she got really dominated Is that the way you remember it? That's the kind of way I
remember she was dominant for a bit, and then she went away. I think she may have started a family, and then she came back, and she kind of just was like, hey, I'm going to do this for fun and relaxed, and played some really good tennis again.
And then she won a couple of Grand Slams because she was always the one that would lose in the semis kind of thing.
Yeah, thereabouts.
Because I remember she played in an era with like Monica Seles, Steffi Graf, fucking, some really good players. So
Martina Hingis,
Yeah, forget about Hingis because she retired so young.
She's a 3-time Australian Open champ. I only realised that when Barty was walking down the Tunnel of Champions.
Yeah,
I'm like, Hingis
she did it. Wow. Yeah, and she did it when she was like 19 and stuff, didn't she?
Yeah, the Swiss Miss.
The Swiss Miss.
100%. Yeah, she was quite young, 17, 18.
And then she quit and started a family and was a happy mum.
No, she quit. She got busted with coke.
Oh, nice. Fucking Gary. I like her even more now. What are you talking about?
And then came back, after that.
She got busted with cocaine. So the Swiss Miss, the little fucking innocent little tennis star who won everyone's hearts when she was like a fucking teenager winning tournaments and stuff. Turns out she was just a massive fucking coke fiend. Hitting the clubs, doing the Kimi Räikkönen styles.
Exactly. Well, and as a 13 or 14-year-old boy, when the Swiss Miss was at her peak, she was quite cute as well.
She was a bit cute. She had a cuteness. I mean, in tennis terms.
In tennis terms, Greeno had a bit of a crush on her because we used to fucking watch a crazy amount of tennis, I realized, when I was reflecting back to this heyday. I was talking with BE a couple of weeks back.
Yep.
And I'm like, we watched a lot because we watched women's tennis, we watched any kind of tennis that was there.
Because it was
for some reason watched.
Because it was the only sport that was on TV at the time. If it had been tennis versus rugby league, we would watch rugby league. Tennis versus cricket, we would have watched cricket. If tennis was the only thing on, it's because we were both just fucking sports mad our whole lives growing up.
It was the only thing on, true.
Whatever sport's on, it's like, we'll watch it and we'll fucking stay up till 6 a.m. watching it. If it's Wimbledon or something, and not give a fuck.
Doesn't matter. Goes right.
So Martina Hingis, she was kind of cute in tennis terms, but she was also, Greeno, a couple of years before one Anna Kournikova arrived on the scene. And then she changed everything after that.
Yeah. It was a whole new ball game after that.
Whole new ball game. All of a sudden, all of the moderately attractive tennis players looked fucking ugly compared because and she didn't win a fucking thing either. She fuck off, get married to Freddie Prinze Jr. and the rest is history.
Close. Enrique Iglesias.
I don't know. They all look the same to me.
Freddie Prinze Jr. finally got married to Buffy.
Sarah Michelle Gellar. That's right. I get these people, celebrities mixed up because it's not like they all look the same to me or anything. It's like, I don't know who these fucking people are. They're just names. They're just celebrity fucking names. I don't remember them. I don't know what they do. Don't know what they were in. It's just not something I concern myself with.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Going back to Batman.
All good.
Good
Good one, mate.
But Opening the kimono, the whole audio dropped out there for about 25 seconds.
I know, and I was covering, and so we did well. Open the kimono there, Greeno, because I kept talking until I thought, like, has this been long enough for him to come back? Has he come back yet? And then I'm like, all right, I'm going for it. And then when you jump off that ledge, Greeno, and you don't know the other person is back or not, then it's a terrifying feeling. But then you were back, but you were like, all good. That's all I got. So that was a fucking nice game.
Nice, Gary.
The highs and lows of doing a shitty podcast that's popular in Vietnam.
Chris ONeil was the last Australians Open winner.
Chris ONeil. There you go.
Like I said, someone no one knows. Now, she's in the Settle tournament. We always talk about that. She's also the only active player to have won on all services with Serena and Rafa, Djokovic, and Federer.
Is that right?
So Barty's in pretty elite company there. Only player to have won on a Grand Slam on all surfaces with those 4 people.
Wait, so she's won the French, she's won Wimbledon, she's won US Open, has she? Oh, no.
I know, Australian.
Yeah, because Australian and US Open are the same, hard courts, right?
Both hard courts, yeah. And she came back from 5-1 down in the second set to win. She looked completely lost. I'm like, let's just go to the third set. It's fine. Yeah. And then she came back and won from 5-1 down.
What happened there? It's just like she turned on the switch and said, okay, that's enough. I'm just going to win it now, you know?
Well, I think what happened is, the opponent started like try and fire up the crowd, do a bit of Leighton Hewitt style stuff.
Come on.
But that fired up her opponent, right? And she got all pumped up. And then Barty broke back in one game and then she got quiet.
She collapsed.
And then Barty's like, well, she's got the mind of the champion. She's like, wow, now here's my chance.
Put the foot on the throat. Let's go.
And then she's just like, bang, 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 won fucking 6 straight games. Yep. Went to a tie break and won the tie break pretty easy. So, well done to Ash. Give her a fucking nice Gary.
Nice, Gary.
Which brings us to the new segment that I'd like to refer to as Lighten Up Cunt.
Lighten Up Cunt.
Lighten Up Cunt. Okay. Because we saw this in the week. Now,
hell of a segment idea. I wish we had have covered this in pre-show.
Pre-show. That's what we should probably do pre-show because we've got a new segment called Lighten Up Cunt.
Lighten Up Cunt. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be able to sell the sponsors on this one.
So what happened is that you know what happens with any sports star? They get dragged around the networks, and especially as an Australian thing. So she got jumbled up there with the Channel 9 morons, and they're like, "Hey, Ash, we've got some beers for you. Like, crack a beer at the end of the interview, blah blah blah." Trying to make it all
It's Australia.
It's
the Australia. She's an Australian girl at the Australian Open. She just won the Australian Open. Hand her a fucking Australian beer and let's get on with it.
Well, here's the problem. Yeah. Now they didn't hand her Australian beer. They gave her 2 options. They gave the option of Peroni or Coronas. And I'm like, what the fuck, mate?
Hand her a fucking dirty VB, eh?
Give her an Australian fucking beer. But that was the only problem I had with it.
I want Scott Morrison to walk out with a carton of Tooheys New, right? And you know how you do that move where you keep holding the carton and you open the top of the box and kind of wiggle one out of one of the 6-packs? I want him to walk out there with a semi-fucking cold. It's not even chilled. It's just kind of like been in the cool room at the liquor store. Walk out there with the carton, open the carton and put a fucking Tooheys New in her hand. Otherwise, Scott Morrison, you hate Australia.
Nice,
exactly.
Un-Australian.
But that's the only thing I took from it. It was very cringe. It was like, hey, we're going to try and make it relatable.
Moment,
we got some beers for you, blah, blah, blah. And she felt a bit awkward, and it was all very awkward. But the thing I found most awkward was that no Aussie beers. It was weird fucking beers no one wants to drink anyway.
Unacceptable. Unacceptable, Greeno. That should not be allowed. Fuck that. So what? Are these 2 beer sponsors are these 2 beer companies sponsoring or something?
I guarantee they're both sponsors.
Why isn't an Australian beer company sponsoring the fucking Australian Open? What's wrong with us? What are we doing?
But I guess it's a global thing, and the Coronas and
fuck off. And it's not a global thing. An Australian just won the Australian Open. Fuck the rest of them. it's our day. Fuck it.
Brings us down to fucking Lighten Up Cunt.
Lighten Up Cunt.
Because with all that, someone managed to take umbrage with the beer thing, not because of the beer of choice, but for some other reason. Let's have a look.
Okay. Former Australian Idol host James Matheson. Remember James Matheson? He was on Channel V, Greeno.
Channel V. He won a reality contest to get on Channel V as a VJ.
That's right. You know what? During the ad break, we're going to have to look up his audition tape for the reality show. And see how things have changed. Former Australian Idol host James Matheson slams Ash Barty beer stunt after Australian Open win. Former Australian Idol host.
1 second. So James Matheson doesn't have a current job. James Matheson has not been in the media landscape for the better part of, 4 or 5 years?
A little bit longer, maybe. And I think he had like a kind of a role on, what was it, like a kind of a game showy kind of thing?
I think on a game show or one of those stupid morning shows like The Circle.
Yeah.
Whatever the 10
one
is.
of Yeah, one of the Channel 10 ones, maybe.
Yeah, one of the 10 morning bullshit shows that no one
nobody
watches.
watched. Yeah.
Yeah, he would have had a segment where they got to plug like 20 minutes out of the 3 hours every day they've got to create. And there's only so much
to be fair
more
to the Channel 10 fucking breakfast crew, they never had a chance. It was always doomed to fail because the breakfast TV market free to air in this country is it's like Woolworths and Coles, Greeno.
Yeah.
It's 100% a duopoly, and it's Sunrise and Today, and they just exchange they go past each other, a couple of times a year usually for like who's the higher rating, and it's just between the two. And then Channel 10 shows up with the guy who hates people celebrating with beer, apparently. And they're like, "Oh, we're going to do a morning show too." And everyone was like, "Oh, okay." And then they just turned back to the television and continued watching whatever one they watched.
Nice, Gary.
So it was never going to work out for them. Former Australian Idol host James Matheson has faced backlash. I love backlash, Greeno. It's fucking
backlash about a fucking comment. Jesus Christ.
After calling out Channel 9 for its Ash Barty beer stunt following her epic Australian Open victory, Barty sent tennis fans wild when she got stuck into a Corona live on air. Sent tennis fans wild.
No one went fucking wild about her drinking a fucking beer live. Tennis fans went wild.
But the news said everyone went wild, Greeno.
I watched it. It was fucking cringe. No one went wild. Everyone awkwardly looked and like, "Oh, cheer, get them cheer." It was fucking embarrassing.
The 3-time Grand Slam champion, 25. She's only 25.
Yeah.
I keep thinking she's older because she's like been around forever, because she was a gun when she was like 19 and stuff, wasn't she?
Yeah, then she had a break, went and played cricket for a while, and then came back to tennis.
That's the crazy thing about our chicks. Like, I rag on chick sport fucking mercilessly, and, rightfully so. But to give them credit, the Aussie chicks are crazy. Like, which one is it that plays for the cricket team and the football team?
Elise Perry.
Elise Perry, of course. So she's like the best player in both sports, like internationally. And then Ash Barty, like, you know what? She, one day she's going to win 3 Grand Slams and be world number 1. But a few years ago, she's like, you know what? I might just play cricket or something. Whatever.
Lash.
She was probably pretty fucking good at that too, So it's just nice, Gary.
Nice, she was, Gary.
25 encouraged the rest of the panel, which included close friend and former doubles partner Casey Delacqua, I remember that name, and ex-tennis Alicia Mollick, I remember her too. Yeah, that's right, the blonde chick. To have a cold drink with her. Oh, okay.
Now, once again, let's. I'm going to dissect that paragraph for you.
Please.
What actually happened is the host, James Bracey, forced her to have a beer, right? And
poured it down her throat. Shut up and drink it, you bitch.
He was like, we need to celebrate with a beer. So he brought out like this fucking crate of beers. And then she's like, well, I'm not going to fucking drink it alone. Like, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, so girls can hook in, free piss.
She asked her friends, like, hey, we'll have a cheers. Yeah. That's apparently her encouraging her friends to have a drink with her.
Oh, mate.
Nice, Gary.
Fuck me. Early in the tournament, she had vowed to hold off enjoying a lager until after the final. Well, she stuck to her promise, didn't she? So that's, well, great. So give her one then. What's the problem? Fans loved her, quote, very Aussie response to the extraordinary win. Who are we quoting here, incidentally, when they say, like,
these inverted common fans.
who are they? So they put in quotations very Aussie, okay?
Fans said very Aussie, apparently.
Fans loved her, quote, very Aussie response. Don't we have to?
Cheryl from The Office.
Yeah, I guess. All right.
So is this from a staff writer?
Oh, look, it's probably a copy pasta, Greeno. Response to the extraordinary win, but Matheson claimed the moment was an example of Channel 9. Okay, fucking hot takes, Greeno.
Nice.
How about hot takes on this cunt? Hey? Listen to this. So he got angry because he said it was an example of Channel 9, quote, glorifying alcohol.
Nice, Gary.
So, once again, has he not ever watched an F1 race?
You are in Australia, James. Hello.
Let's just go to any any sport. So has he never seen a champagne celebration? Has he never seen any other sports star at the end of a grand final having a sip of a beer? Once again, I go back to the segment name, Lighten Up, cunt.
He's making out like she was doing beer bongs with a bottle of whiskey, Greeno. Just like standing in a kiddie pool with ice in it, sculling whiskey.
She was sitting there at the front of my kid's primary school going, six pack, want a six pack? Auntie Ash has got a six pack.
Nice, Gary.
She was doing that thing. I forget the name of it. Have you seen that thing, Greeno, where they hang the wine bladder out of the box? You know, box wine. Hang it from the clothesline.
Yes.
Imagine if they brought out a little portable clothesline. All right, let's celebrate this the fucking Aussie chick way. Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking brilliant. What a toss pot.
Yeah. There's a reason that fucker hasn't had a job in the better part of the last decade.
Well, he seems very unlikable, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice, Gary.
Nice, Gary.
Good story, Greeno.
Nice, Gary. That's time for an ad break as we end this beautiful new segment, Lighten Up, cunt.
Are we doing an ad break? Have we already done one break? We're going to do another break
We're
already.
going to ad break too. We'll come back.
All right.
It's the JJ Stoner Spring Collection, the perfect attire for any and every occasion you can think of this season. Like we were in the mosh pit full of sweat and everyone's slapping, hitting, and pulling on you. This shit won't rip! Lunch at your favorite cafe? Brunch with the girls? These stylish ensembles will give you the confidence you need to look and feel your best. Or if you're getting arrested for possession, it comes with a built-in police stick-proof body armor. Keep swinging, pigs! Call now, and your order will come with a complimentary ounce of that dankest bubblegum slurricane that the South has to offer. Don't forget the wall tapestry! If you need to cover your wall, it works!
Hello, my name is Frozen Asian, and I'd like to tell you about my show, The Sunday Night Shit Show, every Sunday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Along with good conversations and laughing at funny and weird shit we find on the internet, we also have the Hat Cam, where I showcase my myriad of great-looking hats. Here is a testimonial from a great friend of mine who has enjoyed my hats lately.
I hope your next hat is a bullet. Jesus Christ, what are you, fucking Asian Dick Tracy? What's wrong with you? Why do you have to ruin my evening? Like I was just gonna listen to my buds do their show, and you just gotta do that. You do the show without the hat.
So you're not enjoying it?
No.
Dude, Asian
come
Dick
on,
Tracy.
secretly you enjoy it.
You look like you're going undercover in Argentina, but it's not working.
I hate you. I hate you.
Oh, come on, you secretly love it.
No, I openly hate it.
And there you have it. So subscribe to the Sunday Night Shit Show at youtube.com/Sunday Night Shit Show. And hope to see you there on Sunday nights. Bye.
Welcome to The Starting Block. Follow on Twitter at The Starting Block. Drop the K at the end. Find the podcast on iTunes or on tavshow.com.
Yes, back on the block, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Damo, big week for the show this week. We had some exciting news earlier in the week when Greeno realised that fucking Weird Science, the TV show,
Weird Science flashbacks,
is now free to air on stream. Very, very excited with that.
The
news.
Vanessa Angel version, of course, Greeno.
Correct, sir. And I went back. I'm now. I didn't realize that show went for 5 seasons. Believe me.
Weird Science, doo-doo. 5 seasons, really?
5 seasons, 88 episodes in all.
88.
all in the back catalogue there.
Wow.
So I'm 14 episodes in.
And how bad is it?
It actually is not as bad as I thought I was expecting. Now it's worse. It's worse than what I remember.
Take the rose-colored glasses off, my friend.
No. This is the thing. I was expecting the worst. I mean, this show is going to be fucking murd.
Yeah.
But I put it on, and I've been watching it like as I'm going to bed, like so I can fall asleep. And the wife normally doesn't like the shows I put on. And she's been watching. She's like, the show's pretty fucking stupid, but at the same time, pretty funny. And I'm like, it really is, isn't it?
Because it was innocent, dumb 90s humor.
Dumb 90s humor. So I'm like,
was Scott Wolf in that, or just a kid that looks like him?
Just a kid that looks like him. Michael Massaretti, I believe his name is.
Michael Massaretti, you're a fucking genius. You're a genius when it comes to references.
Yeah, so been watching that. So it was a fucking big day for the show. I'm like so excited. I was like, weird fucking science is back on.
Fantastic. Hey, I've got a little something too before we go like too far down the road here, Greeno. Because we were talking about it. This is how Ash Barty should have celebrated the Australian Open win. Now, the bag of wine is colloquial. I can never pronounce that word properly. Colloquially. Yeah, it's a tongue twister for me. Locally, it's referred to as a goon bag. So what they call this is called goon of fortune. So you stand around the clothesline, right? And you tie a goon bag to the clothesline and you spin the clothesline, and whoever it finishes up in front of, they have to drink out of it standing there. So, okay, so.
Now, what is the general? Well, firstly, they're meant to be standing still, correct?
Yeah, you're supposed to be standing still. They haven't started yet, but this is.
Oh, okay. She's just set it up. Now, my question is, how much are you meant to sip out of said goon bag on the goon bag of doom?
I think you've got to take a good kind of few second swigs on it. I think.
Is there a timer on it, or it's just kind of like honesty, honor system? And what's going on there?
It's a party. It's an old people's party, Greeno. It's the kind of parties we go to now, except we don't break out the goon bag.
Why are the people necking in the left-hand corner?
Well, because they're having a good time. So she's got a sash on, so maybe she's getting married or something.
I think this is a hen's night, is my guess.
But no, the guys are there, the partners are there, so maybe it's a hen's. You know how people do the combined one now?
It's a brave new world, mate. You can have handsome ugly blokes these days.
Yeah.
Let's wait for old mate to get his dick out. That's what's going to happen.
That's right. Get your husband a male stripper for the night. Yeah. All right, come on. Let's have a look here. All right, so family. Now, I like this guy's approach here because he's got the Canadian Club tinny in his hand as he's going up, stepping up to play Goon of Fortune, Greeno.
I like it.
So he's prepared. He's like, I don't want to be standing there dry for the next 10 minutes. I want to have something for in between when I get to drink. That's the thing.
If you're at a party, you've always got to have a drink in your hand regardless, irrespective of whether you're playing Goon Bag of Doom.
Yes.
So, because what could happen is he could be sitting there for 12, 13 minutes without a drink in hand. And suddenly he could miss out on his opportunities. He's got to step away to grab a drink. So he's come prepared. This man here, let's circle him. We need the cricket kind of like Mark Taylor circle to go, this man here.
He needs to move a little bit out of position. He needs to move closer to his left because he's crowding his right-hand side position. You
make a very good point here. If we can critique the Goon Bag of Doom stance here, and I know they're not in their final positions yet. The couple in the bottom left-hand corner that were necking are way too close together. They need to be further apart to maximize their chances of getting Goon Bag Doom. Now we've got old duck here in the baggy pants and the grey hair.
Yeah.
She's got prime position.
I reckon she's the matriarch of the family, Greeno. This is the mum. It's her house. I reckon these are like the kids and the partners, and then the kids of the kids, and this is the kind of arrangement we're seeing here, I think.
Correct. Yeah. Now, the other thing I'll take away from this before we play the video is there's a lot of men dressed with no sleeves, and I'm feeling
nice,
their aura.
Nice, Gary.
Well done, sir.
Nice, Gary. Now, I do want to quickly make mention here. Now, this is an important one because I see Victor von Schroom in the chat, Greeno, and I know Victor's in the chat, and I know sometimes Kitty B might listen to like a replay or whatever. So this one is for you guys because Victor and Kitty are the best lol cow herders like on the internet, right? They're the best kind of underground finders of these lol cows that have ever existed. So I think I might have stumbled onto one purely. I don't know anything about this channel, Victor, but look at this, okay? The video is called Goon of Fortune. It's got 302 views. It was uploaded by someone named ONeil, and there's one comment on this video, Greeno, and it's from the guy who uploaded it, and it's, wow, mum, seriously?
Nice, Gary.
So I've got a feeling that this ONeil,
old duck in the middle,
ONeil. Well, it could be any one of them. No, because the video is called, hang on, the video is called Gooner Fortune, but the description is Jean's 40th at home. And then he wrote, wow, mum, seriously, I think this might be son of Jean, who's celebrating the 40th.
What I'm thinking is Jean is the old duck in the middle with the...
No. I don't think that's Jean. I think Jean is the one with the sash around her. I reckon
she's
that's
not 40.
40.
Dude. There's no way she's 40.
But she's the only one with a sash, and it's her birthday. It's a 40th birthday.
Fair call. Can we zoom in on the lady with the sash?
No, I don't think I can zoom.
Because these people, for the most part, seem younger than 40, is my guess.
Hang on. No, I can't really do YouTube zooming. It's kind of fucks everything up.
Well, that makes the people necking in the fucking bottom left-hand corner even more creepy.
Oh, the happy couple.
Birthday, right?
Yeah.
The happy couple, bottom. Like, if you're rocking up to a 40th and you're like, hey, we're going to make out like teenagers in the corner awkwardly, and people watching us while we're waiting for the goon bag of doom.
That's right.
Then fucking something's not right with those two people. Let's continue with the video.
You're not driving.
You're not driving. You can drink. Hey? See, this is this isn't a rarity, I don't think. This is a fairly common kind of, you would be, I reckon you would find this in 100 backyards in Western Sydney on any given weekend, I think, Greeno. Do you reckon that's a fair statement? Yeah. Like, think about how many people live out here, but like 2.5 million. You can't tell me that 100 families aren't doing it in 2.5 million people, because it's a very Aussie thing to do. Stand around and sing cheap piss.
Yeah. Just by myself.
Hey! Come on! How long do you have to drink for? You've got to keep going until it just starts.
Yeah, they're asking very good questions there. Someone said, how long do we have to drink for? That was my question.
Yes. Got to get the technicalities out of the way.
Now, you've got the young bird over here who's got a phone filming everything awkwardly.
Well, no, see, she's the youngest of the group, clearly, and she knows what the modern age of the internet means, Greeno. She's not fucking participating in the goon bag ritual. All the older people are. So she stands off to the side as the young one. I reckon she looks like 20 or something. She's off to the side as the young one, and like just filming everyone else doing it. Fucking nice Gary for that.
Nice Gary!
And now we've zoomed in a little bit more. Now I realise the lady with the sash, definitely 40.
Definitely 40. You're definitive evidence, ladies and gentlemen.
We're a bit closer now. Now she looks 40.
All right. Is she going for a skull? Let's have a look. Let's see. Yeah, look, 40. It's got 40 written on it. Okay.
There we go.
I'm going to be honest here, Greeno. Dick move.
You dick!
Kind of a weak skull, I would have thought. Just kind of dribbled out.
See, look, in her defense, she drank a bit of it. I'm not going to give her a dick move. I'm going to give her a no run.
No run! We need to get that on the soundboard.
We definitely need that on the soundboard.
Yeah, and you can't.
Yeah, that as well. Yep. Now, so it's not quite a dick move. That's a no run. She could have enjoyed that a bit more. A bit of dribble on the side. If you're going to drink that little, you have to make sure you're getting it all in your mouth.
Yeah. I like this guy here with the blue shirt and that little baseball cap on, Greeno. He puts his name on his shirt. That's nice. Look, Lee.
Lee.
Look at that.
Give yourself a dick move. You dick.
Oh, dad jokes. I love them. Always have. Lee, there you go. See, because I'm the kind of Greeno knows me very well. If I went to like a friend of a friend's kind of barbecue thing, and this group of people were here, I'm a pleasant person. Like, I have conversation. I fucking crack jokes. I'm good company, I think. And if I saw this guy wearing this shirt with Lee written on it, I would call him Lee for the rest of my time.
For the rest of the night.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
And he'd be like, actually, my name's Daryl. I'm like, no worries, Lee. Just because it'd be a cunt like that, and he'd probably end up throwing me in the pool or something.
that's not even a current thing. That's something we used to do at parties back in the day.
We did.
A step back in time.
step
Where
back
we
in
would just
time.
name people random.
Just
There
pick,
was a girl-
pick someone out and just like,
Pick someone out.
it wasn't
And not
malicious or
even-
anything. It was like, we
No,
love you,
not
man.
at all. So I remember a story time where one of our friends was trying to woo a lady and she happened to have red hair.
Yep.
So we just nicknamed her Red for the better part
That's
of the
right.
next 3 years
Yep.
while our friend was trying to woo her. And she got very annoyed when we refused to call her by her name.
No, because
Yeah,
you're
that was
red.
awesome.
That's what we remember you
Yeah.
as. Like,
You
I
had
don't
red
know.
hair, so we called you Red.
Yeah.
So my name's Sue. Doesn't matter. Fucking your name's Red.
And
also-
there was
yeah.
old mate. Remember old mate? I forget whose mate he was. I think you guys. I think he must have been one of your school's crowd, one of your school's guys. So he was a black guy, and he wore. I think we're at the races, and he wore a mustard fucking suit. So he looked so much more suave than anyone else there. It was ridiculous because he was a very black guy wearing this kind of light tanned kind of mustardy suit, and he
Yeah.
fucking pulled it off, man.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
we just started calling him sexual chocolate the minute he walked. He was
Yeah.
laughing his
That was,
ass off.
that was a guy named Div off memory.
Div, that's right. Yes, Big
Yeah.
Div, Big Divvy.
Div.
And so we were
Yeah.
saying we were hooking him up, and we were going up to
Yeah.
girls and going, you've got to meet our friend fucking
Gotta-
sexual chocolate.
Sexual chocolate.
Have a
yeah.
look at this cat. And he would saunter up in this fucking mustard suit at the races. Ladies, how you going? He was a
Sexual
fucking
chocolate.
sexual chocolate.
So that, for the next 3 years that we could continue with that dude, sexual chocolate.
Yeah.
There was also the lady at band practice that we affectionately nicknamed Box.
Nice, Gary!
I forgot about the box. Oh, how could I forget about the box? Tell us about the box.
This is an interesting scenario because this was basically a communal groupie who would hang around a band practice facility and seem to be fans of many different bands. That's fine.
All
That's
the
what
bands.
groupies
She
do.
loved all the bands.
Loved all
Apparently.
the bands. Very, very good. But the problem is she'd sit there with her legs kind of half open with no underwear.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see everything.
Yeah.
Hence,
Box.
she was nicknamed Box.
Nice, Gary!
So, getting back to the point of the Lee shirt, we went off on a tangent there. This guy would be
You
named
can't
Lee.
tell those kinds of stories, Greeno, because you know why? Because now, tomorrow, when I'm doing my show, Your Innocent Story, people are going to bombard me and they're going to say, Boogs, did you fuck Box?
Nice, Gary!
And no, I did not fuck Box.
No, he didn't, because Box
None
was
of us
interested
fucked
in
Box.
No, Box was interested in the lead singer who had a
Yeah.
girlfriend at the time.
That's right. Box was chasing Greeno.
Box was definitely chasing Greta, and there was kind of that good angel, bad angel kind of situation happening. Greeno's like, well,
Should you go after Box? I think we all advocated at the time probably going after Box, but you did.
yeah,
You decided
Greeno
against
did the right thing. I listened to the good angel, and I didn't.
Yeah.
So,
Well, because we were like, it's not our fucking life. You know? We just want the story.
Nice, Gary!
Fun fact: she then ended up dating the guy that produced our EP.
She did. That's
and
right.
then we had
And we told him that we
I
called her
told him the
Box.
story, and he's like, "Alan, that's my girlfriend." So we had this awkward moment where we was like,
Yeah.
"Dude, your girlfriend nickname is Box."
Yeah,
for
we've
this
hired
particular
we've
reason."
hired him to make
Yeah.
our music sound good, and we're sitting here saying how we make jokes about his girlfriend and call it and nickname her Box because she shows her pussy to everyone unintentionally. He's like,
I wonder why
so we're
we-
like, you better do a fucking good job, man. We're paying for this.
I wonder why we didn't make it. I
Yeah,
wonder
I
why
know.
we didn't make it.
Nice,
They just didn't get us, Greeno. They wouldn't let us in. They were gatekeeping us, weren't they? Fuckers. Holding us back.
Where the fuck are we up to on this show?
I don't know.
I like
we still
stories
doing,
about pinatas.
Gonna have to get
Doing the
another
Goon
beer.
Bag of Doom, or what are we doing?
Oh, we're still doing the bag of goon, or have we?
No,
Has
we're not.
that
Move on
run
with
its
that.
course? Yeah.
Yeah, we've tapped that bastard dry. Let's do the
Oh, hang
party
on.
whistle,
Let
because-
me put the link in the chat though, just for Victor, because, like I said, I don't really do the lolcow thing, but. And if you've already seen this one, I haven't investigated the channel whatsoever, but purely because this video was uploaded. It's called Goon of Fortune. The description is Jean's 40th at home, and there's only one comment, and it's from the guy who uploaded it, and it says, "Wow, mum, seriously?" that might be worth further investigation, Greeno. Maybe he's got a bunch of fucking videos uploaded, embarrassing family videos that nobody knows about. He's only got 32 subscribers. So, like, who knows what might be hidden away? And that's why I'm releasing it into the wild so Victor and the other people can collect him and do what they do best, Greeno.
Work their magic.
That's right.
We need to do a party whistle demo now.
Party whistle means we're almost out of time.
Where we are. Now, is this a step back in time, I guess?
Step back in time.
So literally the first year of this stupid show where we went to the cricket, me, you, and a cricket reporter, the former opening bat, former opening bowler, the Sacred Hawks, and 12 Beast, Joel Sosnowski. And we went to the cricket and we harassed random New South Wales cricketers to sign random shit for us on the boundary.
That's right.
And this was back at the start of T20, so they kind of just like, yeah, we're going to interact with
What
the
was
crowd.
this, like 2011-ish?
2011, correct. Yeah, it would have been 2011. So one of the people that we got to sign something was Mitchell Starc. We had Josh Hazelwood, we had Mitchell Starc, and we had
back when we
Steve
still did stunts, Greeno. Back in 2011-ish. We'll do a little stunt. Let's do like a little fun little stunt.
We're just young dickheads, really.
Yes.
And we got Mitchell Starc to sign a party whistle. And this guy, Mitchell Starc, was no one at that time. He was like a young player for New South Wales. And we didn't think anything of it. But then from then on, we're just like, well, this dude signed our party whistle. We're now the biggest Mitchell Starc fans ever in the world.
Yeah.
And we created the Mitchell Starc party whistle on our show.
That's right.
And then when we left the radio station, we kind of like, we need to kind of bin the Mitchell Starc party whistle. It's old hat. We need to move on, find something new. But this week, after all the criticism he's copped over the better part of the last decade and calls for him to not be picked in the Australian scene by some certain dickheads in the media.
And the man we referred to for at least 8 years on this show as the starting block's own.
Correct.
Which is because he signed our fucking crappy thing once in a game. So we owned him. And he also replied to us once on Twitter. Do you remember that?
On Twitter.
And he said
many
something
times
like,
on Twitter.
great show, boys. He followed us,
He did listen to us. He won the Alan Border Medal, which is basically the MVP for Australian cricket for the last 12 months.
Best player for the last year. And that one caught me by fucking surprise because I'm like, hang on. Because I'm thinking of like the Ashes. He was very good in the Ashes. But I'm thinking like, so what other cricket have we played though?
That's the thing. We played no Test cricket, but he had a good. He's always a good T20 player, and he had a good T20 campaign. That's right. And he's always good in one days as well. So
he would be my first picked T20 bowler out of any bowler I could get. Just purely because 4 overs. Like, that's what Starc is fucking built for. Starc is built for bowling 4 overs as quickly as possible and trying to intimidate you. Like that's his game, isn't it? Like he bowls 4 over spells.
He also statistically, I think, has the best strike rate ever in the first over in one-day internationals. Right. He just always seems to take a wicket in the first over.
He took a wicket with his first ball in the Ashes. Like he's a freak, a first over freak, isn't he?
So congratulations to Mitchell Starc. Very happy to see him win the Alan Border Medal.
Nice
now it would have been very awkward for us if the second choice, the man who came second, had won, because the Creek came second.
Really?
Have we got the soundbite for the Creek?
Of course we do.
I don't want to wait for
hours. It's been a long time since we heard the Creek.
It has.
I'm just going to grab a beer while this plays because this seems to go forever.
Go for a while.
No? Oh, you know what? It's not long enough. Hang on.
Wind, water, heart, go planet!
By your powers combined, I am Captain Planet!
Captain Planet, he's our hero. Gonna take pollution down to zero.
Okay, we're back.
Sorry
for that, by the way. Giving myself one. Seamless transitions, Greeno, here on the show.
Very well. Very well done. Now, here's the thing. It just goes to show how little Test cricket we played when Mitchell Marsh managed to come second in the Alan Border Medal. Yeah.
So he's the Creek, not the Pond. The Pond is the older brother, Sean.
Correct. The reason the Pond and the Creek exist is because the Pond, or the ducks around, because he just had a shitload of ducks.
Because that's right. Wherever he is, there's a lot of ducks hanging around. Therefore, he is a pond.
He's a pond. And then Mitchell Marsh came inside his younger brother and got a whole bunch of ducks, and then he became the Creek.
Because he didn't have as many ducks.
As many, but
so
at the
creeks
same
have
time,
fewer ducks, but they still do have ducks.
still a lot of ducks around the creek.
Oh, we were fucking... There's some dumb fucking lore on this show, man. There really is.
Like, good though, I love
Dumb rivers of fucking meaningless dumb lore that just exist. Because we've got 10 years worth of this. We've done radio and podcasts and stuff for a long time. So, and nobody's ever given a fuck. So there are just these weird little fucking stories that have existed for fucking a decade that nobody knows about. That's one of them.
Do you want to do another in-joke then? Because
I like stories about pinatas.
The MLB hot stove is dried up because they're on strike and there's
no trade.
Labor negotiations. No one can sign anyone. Blah blah blah. MLB and the Player Association can't do squat. MLB today, instead of providing a counter offer to the Players Association's offer, said, "Nah, fuck it. We're not going to offer a proposal. We're just going to get a mediator in that they happen to employ."
Right.
So this is all fucking going well. So nothing's happening there. So what I've realised is the hot stove has now turned into the Central Coast Report. We're combining dumb jokes from our show for the better part of the last decade.
Maybe I can pull this off. Hang on a minute. Wait, I might have. Greeno, guess what I've got in my hot little hands here?
I've got little hands.
It's this week's hot stove.
Oh, this is hot stove.
Okay. All right. Now, this hot stove comes courtesy of us. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but Scotty from the Central Coast is now filing the hot stove reports, Greeno, from the Central Coast, because apparently there's nothing going on at the Central Coast. I don't know if you're aware of this or not. News to me. Never heard that one. So, never heard of that. So Scotty, but because of current COVID restrictions, Greeno, he actually had to smuggle this by a hand-dug trench that he built underneath the local school gymnasium where they're handing out the rat tests, Greeno.
Okay,
so he snuck out the other side of the gymnasium. He got it to a man on horseback who looked like Kevin Costner.
Okay.
And he said, "Look,
Postman Kevin Costner?
I'm the postman."
Or Dances with Wolves Kevin Costner.
Dances with Wolves Kevin Costner.
Okay, cool.
Because he stank
sure.
like manure. So I assumed that might just be current day Kevin Costner. I don't know. So Kevin Costner took the what report is this again? The hot stove report.
This is the hot stove report. Yeah.
The precious hot stove report, which was handcuffed to his wrist in a locked suitcase at the time, Greeno.
Sorry, mate. Before we continue, I just want to make sure we haven't crossed any union lines, have we?
No.
Like, I don't want Scotty to be called a scab. That's all I'm saying.
No, definitely not. No, he didn't cross any lines. He dug underneath them.
Excellent.
And kind of wormed his way out like a common weasel, Greeno.
Yeah.
So he got out the other side of the gymnasium. He got the hot stove report to Kevin Costner, who then jumped on a horse and rode it to the airport, who then flew it down to Sydney Airport and ran it out to us. And I have the hot stove report here in my hands, Greeno. Hot little hands.
Juicy.
Here it is. This week's hot stove report. Nothing going on.
Nothing going on. Looking forward to Kevin Costner / Scotty's report next week.
Nice, Gary.
There you go.
It's good to have the hot stove / Central Coast report back.
It is, isn't it? Fuck yeah.
Fantastic. We're missing a lot of good segments that used to be in the show. Yeah. I miss Periscope a week late, personally.
Periscope a week late. You know what I was thinking about the other day, Greeno? Damo's talking points with the fucking elevator music. Remember the elevator music?
I remember that. It was just you on a 6-minute rant about just random shit.
Well, no, it's just like dumb things that you think of like during the day, you know?
Can we bring that
like
on
the
back?
the potato starch thing? You know, that would have been one of the talking points. So we'd have elevator, and I'd be like, Greeno, what do you think about this? How do they get the potatoes out of the? How do they get the starch out of the potatoes? I mean, and how do they get it out of the potatoes and then put it in a shirt? Does that mean you can cook a shirt and turn it into like chips because there's potato in it? There you go.
I know it was Jeopardy music opposed to elevator music.
That was a segment we did for about 6 months.
Yeah, thereabouts and realised it was falling flat in its ass. But it was good when we did it.
Yeah, it was hard to keep thinking of dumb things. It really was.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's see what NBA stat man, sir.
I'm a scat man.
Australian Josh Giddey became the youngest player to reach these numbers in his first 45 games since LeBron James. 500 rebounds, 500 points, 200 rebounds, 200 assists. So Giddy absolutely fucking crushing it. Young Aussie, drafted by the Oklahoma City Thunder, doing great things over the NBA. So
he fucking looks like an Aussie too, doesn't he? With that haircut and like he looks like a beach grommet, you know. Like, but you know what? Let's not get too fucking excited. Good on him. It's a good stat, right? Like, let's be fair here. It's a fucking really good stat, like a rookie stat. Yeah. You know, it's in esteemed company, but history is full of like first year phenoms that drop off as well. So let's not fucking start lumping, because the Australian way is like the kid's a rookie in the NBA. Let's pile all the pressure on him. You know, that's just what we do. He's got to be the best.
Here's the thing. No one in Australia is talking about him. This is on SportsCenter.
They will, though, now after this.
No, they won't. Liam Hendricks is an Australian baseball player who won the best reliever 2 years in a row. No one's heard of him.
Yeah, because he's the reliever. So he's not it does, because this kid's being compared to LeBron James. It's a little different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, this kid got better stats than LeBron James in his first year. Fuck, we better keep an eye on him. That's the way they'll be thinking, you know.
Nah, because they're all in the other thing is like footy, bluggy, footy.
Oh, yeah.
Can we find a way to? Has Josh Goody ever played in the AFL? What was his junior footy like?
Funnily enough, the ironic thing about that is, like, from what I can gather, like almost most of the AFL players, I think, they're all mad fucking basketball fans. Did you know that?
Oh, 100% they are,
For some reason, AFL players fucking love, but like there's some similarities in the way people move and stuff to evade like their tag and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's
they're
also-
just all mad for the draft. I guess it's draft night and doing deals and stuff too, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think it's the age as well. Like a lot of the AFL players, like they're younger than us, but you know they grew up in kind of the era where basketball was big in Australia, perhaps. So there's a bit of that.
We grew up in the Jordan years, so LeBron is their Jordan, isn't he? You know,
pretty much, and they had the Kobe
Captivates
era as well. So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
So
Everyone forgets about the Kobe era, don't they?
Yeah, because Kobe's a racist, and no one wants to talk about it.
Well, he's also dead.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. It fucking pisses me off, and it's un-PC to say, but everyone is talking about how good a guy Kobe is.
He wasn't a
after
good
he
guy.
died.
He was a magic player, but he was a terrible human.
He was a fucking ball. Yeah. Well, they were like, oh, you know, he was such a good dad. I'm like, what about the rape thing? Oh, no, we don't talk about that.
I think the rape thing was probably bullshit, though, when it all comes down to it. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, well, there's enough evidence there where
Is there? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
there's a fair bit.
There's a lot. Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff. I don't know what to believe. I just don't believe anything anymore, Greeno, because like
pretty much
every single sports star now, you Google them, there's at least one fucking crazy cunt out there who's saying, "Oh, he fucking touched my titties when I was on a plane" or something. You know, it never ends. They're everywhere.
There's difference between allegations and facing federal prison and suddenly getting paid off, and and then the allegations get removed in the middle of a federal court proceeding.
Maybe it was just like less hassle for him to do it though. Like just pay the bitch off. I make fucking $200 million a year. What does she want? 2 million? Whatever. Who gives a fuck? Just give it to her and we'll get rid of this. Put it behind us, and then make her sign something that she can never bring it up ever again. He wins at that point. You get $2 million because you're broke, and $2 million is a life-changing experience. I understand that, but for him, $2 million is fucking nothing. So, like, you know, he probably instructed the lawyer, how much is it going to cost me to just get this fucking shit behind me? You know,
that's why it keeps on happening, doesn't it?
Nice, Gary.
Rich fucking people just pay to make these things disappear.
Well, it keeps happening because poor people keep taking the money.
Doesn't help.
Well, if you take the money, you take the
off.
money. Like, I'm not begrudging anyone. Don't get me wrong. I'm not begrudging anyone taking the money. But if you take the money, then you take the money, and it can't be an issue after that. If you take the money.
I don't want to take a more darker.
Can't take the money and be the victim. You can't.
No, you kind of can, because here's the thing. Like, if you're smart enough to understand how the real world works, you understand that he's going to pay off the judges and stuff anyway. So you either take the $2 million or the corrupt system managed to make sure everything kind of goes the way it wants to be anyway.
Maybe. I don't know. I think they like throwing fucking celebrities behind bars these days, don't they? Look at that. What's the fucking that weird? Remember the guy who cried during that interview? The singer guy, the R&B guy. I don't know. He was fucking like a 15 or 16-year-old girl or something.
Kelly.
Kelly, was that him?
Nice, Gary.
He's like, oh, this ain't me. I didn't fucking do this shit. You know, that in that interview. Yeah.
That's the thing. But he paid off. He had to pay off, and he didn't go to prison originally.
Didn't he? I thought he did go to prison.
No.
Isn't he in there now? Oh, wow.
No, yeah, because he did something else fucking horrid, and he finally got busted for it.
Nice, Gary.
See, someone like when I talk about Hakeem Olajuwon, you know how much of a fan I am of Hakeem.
Oh, the dream, yeah.
Yeah, he was my idol growing up, basketball wise. Anyway, like I would practice his fucking his pivot and stuff in the key and shit when I was a kid, of course, and millions of kids did. But someone said to me like, "Oh, you know, he's a cunt because of this, that, and that." I'm like, I don't care. I don't care about that. I've heard that Hakeem has like 28 illegitimate children all around the United States and different countries in Africa. Like, I don't care.
Surprise me. Yeah.
Have as many fucking kids, have as many as illegitimate kids as you want. Fucking do whatever you want as long as you play good ball. That's all I care about.
There's nothing illegal about having children. It's consensual.
But being that good of a basketballer should have been fucking illegal, Greeno.
Nice, Gary.
I mean, Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen's apparently got 30, 35 kids thereabouts.
And Scotty seems like a real kind of down to earth family man, doesn't he? So
he does, yeah.
He would have been a player back in the day.
Yeah, he's got a big family. Yeah.
35 of them. Yeah. Well done, Scotty, by the way. His boys can swim, can't they?
Speaking of court cases, Damo, we'll end the show on this. I don't know if you follow this story. Something for your show, perhaps, tomorrow.
Yeah, what do you got?
This is kind of a landmark case that's happened in the NFL in the last couple of days.
Okay.
Brian Flores, who's a former coach in the NFL, is suing the NFL.
Who was he the former coach of? Is this the Dolphins guy?
This is the Dolphins guy, correct.
Because you know what? I don't know anything about like local Florida football mentality or whatever, but I would have thought if I was the coach of the Dolphins who have done fuck all for how many years, and the other Florida team, the Bucks, like, you know, they won the Super Bowl, it makes me as the Florida coach look really bad, you know? Like, it must be the dynamic, surely. So they're like, you know what, we're going to catch up to the Bucks, let him go.
I'm pretty sure this guy lost his job a couple of years back, so it was before the Buccaneers kind of...
really? Oh, there you go. There you go.
So he's suing the NFL for racial discrimination, basically going, look, yeah, he is, 100%.
Wait, the same NFL with the kneeling and stuff? Okay.
Yeah,
right.
Spot on.
Interesting.
So, and one of the things that popped up in his lawsuit against the NFL, and particularly the Miami Dolphins, is the fact that Bill Belichick accidentally sent this guy a text saying, "Congrats, I hear you've got the job for the Giants."
Oh, really?
And he's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Oh, I hear you're their man." And he's like, "Oh, but I don't interview for another couple of days." And he's like, "No, it's a done deal. You're already signed." And he's like, "Who do you think you're texting?" And Bill Belichick was texting this white dude, Brian Doble, before Brian Flores was even being interviewed. So the job had already been taken. But they've got this rule. They've got this rule in the NFL where you've got to do minority
like insider
hiring.
trading. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do minority hiring, right? So for every job, you got to make sure you interview a black candidate. Mm-hmm. So what he's saying is he didn't even get the opportunity to present and get an opportunity for this job because Bill Belichick had already heard he got this job, texted him, didn't realize it was the wrong Brian. It was like, new phone, who dis?
New phone, who dis? Bill Belichick. He's running rampant. Maybe he just maybe he just wanted to fuck it up for this guy.
So like Brian Flores had to reply back to him, and he's like, because Belichick's like, got it. I hear from Buffalo, New York. You're their guy. I hope it works out. I hope it works out for you too. And then
Buffalo's going to replace their coach?
No, they were just saying like both of these things. He's like, hang on, that's definitely
Buffalo
what I
replace
want.
their coach now. That would be.
But
dumb.
he's like, Coach, are you talking to Brian Flores or Brian DeBoli? Just making sure. Oh. And then Belichick, there was like this gap for like a day, and then the reply from Belichick was like, "Sorry, I fucked this up. I double checked and I misread the text. I think they're running with DeBo. I'm sorry about that."
Oh.
Nice, Gary.
So Belichick is like, "Fuck." So he's texting everyone else, freaking out, going, "Shit, I've just texted the wrong guy. Like, I've already told him that he doesn't have the job and he hasn't even interviewed yet." Like, so it's going to be interesting. Well done, Bill. He can read a game plan, but he can't send a text message.
How does Bill Belichick how does he know anyway? Like, why is he in the loop?
Connections, like.
I know, right? But don't like that. I'd be a little bit sour. Like if I was on the like the panel selecting the coach for that team, and Bill Belichick, like from a different team's out there fucking shit up for me, I'd be like, well, who the fuck does he think he is leaking that stuff? You know?
Well, I don't think he was leaking. I think he was just kind of giving encouragement.
Wow.
He was giving encouragement to a guy that used to work for him. So I think they were mates. The guy that actually did get the job, I think they used to work together in New England.
Right.
So he was texting him going, hey, man, I hear you're the guy. Congrats. Like kind of just being a buddy, not it's got anything like that. And it turns out he texted the wrong dude. So
what odds do you reckon I can get of the Patriots winning the Super Bowl in like say the next 3 years? Because I'd fucking put money on it.
Good question. They're not
far away. They're not far away from being competitive again, are they?
No, they're not far at all.
No. So
you're right. 2-3 years, you'll get him back there.
Yeah, because he's just a winning. He's just a winner. Like he's the Wayne Bennett kind of thing, isn't it? It's like the elder statement. He's been there. He's won them all. He's done it all. He's seen them all, and that enough would probably lift the players like fucking 5% when they're on the field because they're like our guy knows best. You know,
he knows how to build. Yeah, he knows how to build a team. Like I watched him. I watched this weird doco last year before. It was like the 100 greatest NFL players of all time for the 100-year anniversary or something like that.
Yeah.
And Bill Belichick was part of this panel. And just the way he spoke about football, you're like, this guy's an idiot savant. He just knows everything about everything. Like, and it didn't seem like he was given a lot of notes. It was just like, let just Bill talk about what he knows about footy, and then we'll go back to the hosts.
Yeah.
He knows his stuff, and he took a team last year that didn't really do much after Brady left, and then turned him into a playoff team, and they got knocked out in the first round. That's fine, but to get back to that, like you're thinking, 3-4 years to rebuild. You got him back to the playoffs with fucking Mac Jones this year. Is pretty impressive.
Like last year was just a completely like let's throw them all out there and see what they can do kind of a feel. I think
it was the first year post Brady.
That's right.
And
it was just like let's see what they got. Let's see what we're dealing with here. And then it's almost like he was like, okay, that's what I'm dealing with. Let's bring a couple in. Let's take a couple out. And then he's like, all right, let's see how we go. Like rearrange the pieces kind of thing and go. All right, now go see how we go with that. And they fucking make playoffs again. Like it's ridiculous. He's a fucking machine.
Yeah.
He is a genius. And Brady's going to the thing is Brady's going to retire and Belichick will still be going and winning Super Bowls.
Well, but apparently Brady's retired now. So
yeah. Well, that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. So Brady will retire. Yeah. And Belichick will be still winning Super Bowls, in a couple of years from now. If he wants to, maybe he's had enough. I don't know as well. Like,
I think he would die with a clipboard in his hand. That's how much
I reckon he'd want to win one. I reckon he would think that because Brady won one away from him, he'd want to win one without Brady too.
Well, he's won one without Brady beforehand,
right?
Like the Giants and stuff. But
sure, but it's not like the legacy at the Patriots. Like if he can stay at the Patriots and then win another Super Bowl without Brady, then he's like. Just godlike in the. I know he's already
the greatest coach ever, but
I know. But that would cement. Don't you think that would cement him in though? Like he did it with 2 fucking quarterbacks. Like the Patriots dynasty, even though they lost the greatest quarterback of all time, it kind of lulled for a year or two, and then it was back right there, right back again. Like that would be insanity. So
it would be. He's an amazing coach. You're right. He's the Wayne Bennett of the NFL.
Yeah. And if he wants to get jerked off at Asian massage parlors, if he keeps producing Super Bowl rings, and so be it. I imagine he lets the girls.
That was the owner.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Oh, well, he can get it if he wants.
He can get it too if he wants it.
Yeah. Well, it seems to be the pattern down there at the Pats, doesn't it?
Come on in.
The owner's down. Maybe that was the secret to the success the whole time.
Exactly. Rubbies.
Yeah, just relieve some of that pressure in the boardroom.
Exactly. Very relaxed team down there in New England.
Yeah. Very cold outside.
That's our show, sir.
Yeah. What a way to finish.
It's a good way to finish.
Yeah.
Happy ending. Plugs.
Oh, God. Dr. Till was in here before. Follow Dr. Till. Victor Show. Jim Enward's been in the chat. Greeno, he's been busy in the chat. He said, well, there are only 32 NFL head coaches, so it's a pretty tight community. I guess, so it's okay for the guy to get the name wrong on the text message. There aren't that many of them. Fuck him. Follow Greeno at the starting block when we drop the K at the end. Follow myself at BoogieBumper. I'll do a show tomorrow morning, my time, tonight, your time, if you're in the States. Victor Show, follow Victor Show, follow the people to follow. They're just
That's it. Twitter, it's out there.
Twitter, it's a thing.
It's a thing. That's right.
All right. Catch you later.
See you guys next week.
Bye.
We'll always be bosom buddies, friends, sisters, and pals. We'll always be bosom buddies. If life should reject you, there's me to protect you.
If I say that your tongue is vicious,
if I call you uncouth,
it's simply that.
Who else but a bosom buddy will sit down and tell